Hello everybody, thank you for coming to our Speak Out. My name is Ryan.
My name is Thanos, and we are here to talk about phosphate mining in Florida.
When you think of an environmental issue, what is the first thing that pops in your head?
Global warming, pollution, maybe even the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico.
Phosphate mining is a lesser known but equally important environmental problem. We are here to raise awareness for a topic that would normally be swept under the rug. We hope you all understand that this is a local issue that needs to be brought to light. When companies mine for phosphate, they clear hundreds of acres of forest. And when they process the phosphate rock, there are a lot of dangerous byproducts released into the environment as a result.
You probably did not know that Florida produces 75% of our nation's phosphate and 25% of the world's phosphate.
Phosphate is mined because it is used for a variety of things. 90% of the phosphate mined in Florida is used for fertilizer, 5% for animal feed, and the other 5% is used in everyday items such as soft drinks, toothpaste, light bulbs, vitamins, and many other things.
Since Florida produces such a large amount of phosphate and the environmental impact is so bad, we decided to dig deeper into the seemingly unknown issue.
The areas they mine are inhabited by a variety of species only found in Florida. Some of these animals are endangered, and the mines are destroying their environment.
Right now, the Florida panther is endangered and lives in the land that is being cleared by the mines. Instead of saving this endangered species, the phosphate companies are making it even harder for this animal and other animals, such as the bald eagle, Florida black bear, and gopher tortoise, and many others to survive. Not only does this affect animals, but it affects us humans too.
Strip mining is a technique companies use to extract phosphate out of the ground. First, they clear cut the forest and any surroundings until there's nothing left but dirt. Thriving ecosystems are ruined and animals are displaced. Second, they dig 20 to 40 feet, and once they're finished digging, they mine the earth that remains for phosphate. This technique retains a lot of water that would normally end up in the ocean. Because the water gets trapped, it cannot naturally make its way into the ocean, which increases the salinity of the ocean. That can be very harmful to nearby marine organisms.
When a mining permit is issued, the law states when a company is finished mining, they have to reclaim the land. Reclaiming the land means that the company must refill, replant, and refurbish the area they destroyed to its original status. Right now, the companies have mined 340,000 acres and have only restored 70,000. While the companies claim they have restored the land to its original state, the reality is that the land is just a shell of what it used to be. Animals and other organisms do not usually return to their once cherished home after it has been decimated. Environmentalists and scientists say that the land never really recovers from the mining.
Raw phosphate in its natural state is called ore. When found, phosphate ore is attached to sand and clay. In order to remove the sand and clay, they have to process and refine it in order to make it a usable resource.
The first step is to place all of the ore in a pit and shoot it with a high-pressure water gun until it becomes a slurry. Once this action is completed, the beneficiation process begins. What is beneficiation? Well, it's a two-step process used to refine phosphate ore. The first step is to remove the attached pebbles and rocks from the phosphate ore. After this initial separation, all that is left is sand and phosphate. Since the sand and phosphate have the same density, they have to be separated. The phosphate is coated with a chemical agent which helps it float. Then air bubbles are added to the mixture, making the phosphate float to the surface. The final step is to clean the finished phosphate rock, which can then be used for whatever product they choose.
When this extensive process is finished, the leftover materials are phosphoric acid and phosphogypsum. Phosphogypsum is radioactive and cannot be put back into the environment, so the companies put the phosphogypsum into large piles. These piles resemble small mountains and cover 600 acres and rise up to 200 feet. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, these gypsum stacks are the largest man-made waste piles in the country.
Currently, there are 25 of these piles in Hillsborough, Polk, and Hardee, and many other counties in Florida, and more are being made every day. Once these piles reach their maximum size, they are left alone. The problem with these piles is that if an accident happened and a sinkhole were to open up, these gypsum piles would seep into the groundwater. In 1995, a 150-foot wide sinkhole opened up underneath a pile of phosphogypsum and sucked an 80 million ton stack straight into the aquifer, contaminating the drinking water for residents in Tampa Bay.
On August 27th of just last year, Mosaic Mine Company in Polk County had a 40-foot sinkhole open up on their site. This sinkhole drained 215 million gallons of radioactive water into the aquifer.
And just to give you guys an idea how much water that is, the average water tower normally holds around 1 million gallons. So imagine 250 water towers filled with this dangerous water.
Mosaic waited 3 weeks to report the incident to the EPA, and as a result received a $2 billion fine for their careless actions. The EPA stated that the 60 million pounds of hazardous waste addressed in this case was the largest ever covered by a federal or state agency. To put this amount of weight in perspective, 60 million pounds is equivalent to about 82 Boeing 747 airplanes.
This isn't the only instance where this has occurred. Two similar incidents occurred in 1997 and 2004. The 2004 spill flowed directly into a tributary on the Peace River. The pH of the river is supposed to be 6.5 to 7, but after the spill, it was 3.5. That level of acidity can kill the fish, manatees, and other organisms living in that part of the river.
Another byproduct of phosphate is a material called waste clay. When they shoot the phosphate with the water guns, the clay is what is left over. This clay contains toxic levels of radium and uranium, which are very radioactive. The clay is put in a settling pond, where instead of water going to nearby plants and animals, it gets absorbed by the settling pond and stays there because of the clay. Also, in rare instances, these ponds have drained into rivers and released toxic water to the surrounding plants and animals.
We searched a video that shows the effects of phosphate mines on residents living near the mines. Please watch.
With all these negative impacts these mines have in Florida, you are probably wondering why they're still in business. Mosaic, the biggest phosphate producer in the world, is ranked in the top 100 businesses in America for salaries and job satisfaction. In Hillsborough County alone, Mosaic provides 1,200 jobs. While shutting down the mines in Florida would help the surrounding area and its residents environmentally, it would also weaken our economy.
Currently, Mosaic provides jobs for thousands of Americans, but down the road, they will have destroyed our ecosystem to the point of no return.
With all the radioactive waste compounding and the disasters that keep occurring, the next one could be catastrophic, not only for the environment, but for Florida's residents too.
We hope we educated you on the dangers of this industry and passed important knowledge on to you.
Thank you all for coming to our presentation. My name is Ryan.
My name is Thanos, and we think this is an idea worth sharing.